If you're looking to make a change, to get improved performance, improve your sleep, and help you with your weight loss journey, try Optimum Day and Night. Make a change as soon as you can.
And that's exactly why I'm so excited to tell you that Optimum Day and Night has had a major upgrade. And these have been a real game changer in my health journey. Optimum Day helps your metabolism burn throughout the day, and Optimum Night helps you get a really good sleep throughout the night.
And here's some real life proof on screen right now. Both Robbie and Michael Owen teamed up with Oxford Natural for their wellness journey, and you can see the results for yourself.
And remember, the supplements don't replace a healthy lifestyle, they support it. So if you're looking to make a change, click that link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen and get 70% off your first order today. Start off talking about Mohammed Kudus, yet to be seen in pre-season. But journalist Sam Tabitao says there is hope that Mohammed Kudus could play against Hoffenheim after returning to full team training following a serious quad injury. His return is being managed, with Roberto De Zerbi admitting the club initially rushed Kudus back before he suffered a setback in his recovery in April. So let's hope they're not rushing him back again. He has said, they are going to take caution with him. So whether he does play this weekend or not, I kind of envisage maybe we'll see some minutes from Kudus. I don't think it will be in the game on Saturday, maybe the game on Sunday.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling, but him being back is massive, absolutely massive. Not only because we're short in the forward line, but also because how important he is to De Zerbi's system, how important he is to the quality we have on the wings. We've literally got no wingers at the moment. So if Mohammed Kudus can play any part or at least start the first game week, that is absolutely ginormous. We haven't seen Mohammed Kudus yet. Under De Zerbi, we haven't seen what he's capable of. Obviously, at the beginning of last season when he first joined, had some really good performances before Frank Ball really kicked in, you would have to say, and then all of a sudden it came, let's just pump the ball to Kudus' chest and hope he takes on 3 players and hope he can put in a cross and hope something can happen. And I think teams very quickly suss that out. But imagine Kudus with lots of opportunities to go one-on-one with his fullback, leaving spaces for the other forward players. Hopefully, if we get some through the door between now and the end of the window, I think it's going to be absolute havoc, and I think teams are going to really struggle to deal with him. He can go both ways. We all know what Kudus is capable of. So I think, yeah, it's very, very exciting, really exciting. I think it's been 6 months since we've seen him in a Spurs shirt. So not only was he our best attacker when he was here, I think he could go to a new level under De Zerbi.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this is kind of like the rebirth of Mohammed Kudus' Spurs career, because yes, he was our best attacker, but he was so utilised in the wrong way, wasn't he? Like you mentioned, basically give it to Kudus and get him to channel us in a Messi and take it round everyone and put the ball in the back of the net or lay it off for someone else. Now we're going to have a proper structure behind him and we're going to utilise him so well, and I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
Yeah, and in fact, this is probably as well the first time since he's come to the Premier League, he's going to be in a team who's more possession-based, who's more the protagonists. Like when he was at West Ham, they were also more of a counter-attacking team. When he joined Spurs, it was during a time when we had Thomas Frank, and he was more playing on the counter-attack with limited chances to receive the ball. And I think now under De Zerbi, a team which basically functions to build up, inviting the pressure, then keeping the ball when we can and frustrating the opponent. And then once we give the ball over to Mohammed Kudus, he's going to be obviously tasked with taking on his fullback, creating things. And I can't wait to see what he's going to be capable of under Roberto De Zerbi. He's going to feel like a new signing, I feel.
Yeah, and our number one Kudus fan has just sent in a super chat as well. Nin Chow is back and says there are reports that De Zerbi wants to try and play him centrally, which is obviously, we spoke about this yesterday, but I think that's a bit of a mouth-watering prospect if James Maddison maybe is being eased in. If we can get Kudus on the pitch before Maddison, Kudus centrally, and then obviously hopefully the 2 new signings, which we'll get onto in a minute, with Gakpo and Savinho on the flanks. I think that would be brilliant.
Yeah, I think against teams who are going to go man to man, if you put Kudus centrally and get him getting some separation between him and his marker, or even not, even if he doesn't, he's obviously strong enough and good enough to hold off someone and turn on the ball effortlessly. We've seen him do it 100 times. So I can imagine in those scenarios, he is going to be incredible in those games. I think where he might struggle a bit is when teams obviously retreat into that low block and the space is a bit limited, and he's picking up the ball in and around the penalty area and asked to maybe pick a lock or maybe provide a bit of magic on the edge of the box. And I think in those moments he might find it a bit difficult to influence the game in the way we know he can. But I can imagine if a team is pressing us high, if they've got a centre back on Kudus's back and we just get the ball on the floor, Van Hecke is rolling the ball towards him, he just holds off the defender, turns him, and all of a sudden you open up all that space. And I think teams are going to really struggle to deal with that if we play him centrally. I think that's a mouth-watering prospect.
Something that I've been thinking about as well the last couple of days is, what do you reckon about Kudus in the false nine?
Yeah, I mean, we saw him. It wasn't false nine, but we saw him playing a front two in the Super Cup.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That was a year ago out in Udine, and yeah, he was fantastic, wasn't he? And they found it really hard to kind of deal with. So I think him in the false nine, it's not something he's like played lots of, but he has played up front before. He's played there for West Ham even before. Yeah, I think that's something we should also consider in certain games. I remember there were certain games like Adama Traore used to play in the number 9, and it wasn't like something you'd play him every game, but there were certain games he was really effective. So I think Kudus could do that role.
I agree. So there you go. That is Mohammed Kudus. Let's get in to some transfer news now, people. And first up, we're going to talk about the protracted transfer of Cody Gakpo. There's been some developments today regarding Cody Gakpo, and the ever-reliable Dutch journalist Joost Blahoff, I think is how you pronounce it. Sorry, Joost, if I've got that wrong. But says that all parties are now becoming increasingly convinced that a move for Cody Gakpo to Spurs is very realistic. The chances of a deal going through now are considered high, although Liverpool still need to give the green light. Roberto De Zerbi has never wavered in his pursuit. It's Gakpo all the way. Gakpo has reached an agreement in principle with Tottenham Hotspur, who has stepped up their pursuit by making an approach to Liverpool. That has significantly increased the chances of Gakpo making the move from Liverpool to North London this summer. SZY says that Gakpo is happy with the personal terms presented by Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool demands £70 million and will give the green light once an attacker arrives, which is understood to be soon. There's been no official offer submitted yet. So I think on the Liverpool side of things, it does look like Liverpool and Bradley Barcola is progressing quite nicely for them, which could open the door for Cody Gakpo to Spurs. It's very convincing and very good to hear that personal terms are all but agreed. And for what Joost is saying, it looks as though the chances are very high that Gakpo is going to be a Spurs player.
Yeah, there was also a report that Spurs have submitted a £60 million offer. I can't remember who that was from, but there was also that report. But obviously, I said why poured a bit of cold water on that, saying it's not true. Apparently, that £60 million offer anyway is set to be rejected. That's what the report was saying. Yeah, I mean, it is encouraging. It seems as though all the Dutch journalists from Joost anyway, from his side, he seems to be getting some really encouraging news, encouraging insight into this deal. So if that is the case, maybe there is kind of on both sides of this deal. Obviously, we know Tottenham are desperate for him. We know he's our number one target. The only stumbling block is whether Liverpool are going to be willing to let him go. So if they're hearing that there is encouragement on both sides that this deal is going to be done, it sounds like this, again, another one similar to Savinho, moving in the right direction right at the right time. I mean, it'll be amazing we can get him in time for the Brentford game. That seems a bit unlikely at the moment, but that would be incredible. But if we can just get him through the door, I think he's going to be a phenomenal signing for us. So it looks like, I think Drew said yesterday we've expressed formal interest. So surely, obviously we've waited this long to do it. There's probably a reason for that. And surely we don't go ahead and actually express that formal interest unless we've maybe heard something behind closed doors.
Look, everyone was panicking. Spurs not going to get their deals over the line. Shouldn't wait this long for Cody Gakpo and Savinho. And look, I was getting a bit worried as well. I was probably worried before most people. And then I was thinking to myself as well the last couple of days, you just got to remember what Roberto De Zerbi said. What did he say? I'm a shark in the transfer market. When I want a player, I get him over the line. And these two players, I think we will get over the line.
Yeah, I mean, once Zerbi makes the call, once he wants someone, he won't let them go, like a dog with a bone. And it has been proven right so far in this transfer window. Everyone we've really seriously gone after, he's been able to get, even players that we wouldn't have expected. So if he's going after Savinho and Gakpo, I think he's going to get his man. And it seems as though that's moving in the right direction. It still seems a bit to do. I think Anfield Agenda, they posted a report saying from a Liverpool source that they've heard at the moment there's still no change in Gakpo and his stance at the current moment. But with their moves for Barcola progressing, maybe they're confident they'll get that second winger. Maybe they need, once they sign Barcola, maybe they need that little bit of cash to maybe get that second winger over the line.
Yeah, that's a high possibility, I would say. But yeah, look, in my opinion, you know, from the reliable journalists, it's very, well, Juiced is incredibly reliable. So you look at it and it's very positive for me and very, it looks like it's going in the right direction.
Could we get him before Brentford, do you think?
I think there's a high chance of it.
A high chance of it?
I think there is, because I think, you know, Liverpool are going to try and get, you know, Bradley Barcola in before that first game of the season as well. And I think Spurs are going to do their best to get Gakpo in as well. So I think there's a good chance of it.
I think the rumours are at the moment with Barcola that the serious moves are going to be made Monday next week, and things are going to start really rolling there. Obviously, PSG have just confirmed they're pretty much getting Ferran Torres and Mika Götze as well from Ajax. So that seems to be them getting their guys over the line. So they're preparing for Barcola's exit, it seems. And so they're expecting it. So it seems that the dominoes are falling.
Exactly. So I think I do think he's going to be a Spurs player by that first game. I really do.
We're going to go from who we're going to start against Brentford to bloody hell, we have too many options.
Savinho now. So yesterday there was reports breaking from Brazil that Spurs have submitted an £85 million. It said pound, but I assume it was euros. Surely that was a typo. Bid for Savinho. Miguel Delaney said today that Savinho is set to be secured for a fee of £65 million plus add-ons. Enzo Maresca has been speaking about Savinho today in the press conference about his so-called illness, and he says that Savinho was not part of the session on Thursday. He was a little bit ill. We'll see today. The session is in the afternoon. We'll see and we'll decide for tomorrow's game. I mean, I highly doubt this guy is ill.
No chance.
There is no chance this guy is ill, right?
Just happens to be ill.
You just see this every time. Like, so often when a transfer is in the works, some player just goes down with this magical illness.
Yeah.
Very convenient timing every time.
Yeah, it's obvious BS. I think they've got to say something to try and not make themselves look bad. But Savinho, I think, is trying to force through this move. Obviously, we also heard today that Man City is still not making it easy for Tottenham to get this deal over the line. Sorry, that's what we heard last night. So that was on the same report as the 85 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so then that has got to be BS. That's got to be a BS report, because surely if Spurs are putting £85 million down on the table, Man City will roll the red carpet out for him.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? But it may be that, you know, Tottenham are putting another bid in. Obviously, Man City reportedly aren't going to sell him until they find a replacement. And even though the bid reportedly is extortion, if they're still not making it easy for Tottenham, maybe we've got in Savinho's ear saying, look, you've got to have to try and do something here, because otherwise, if you don't start like causing a bit of trouble, like trying to force this move, there's a possibility it might not happen. So we've got to make sure we get you to Tottenham. You want to come here. And right now, Man City aren't playing ball, so you've got to do whatever you can to try and make Man City play ball at the moment. And I think this 85 million figure, I mean, I actually read the original report, and the original report said it was 600 million in some weird currency. I can't remember what currency it was. So I'm guessing some people used a currency exchange and came up with the 85 million pound figure. I've got a feeling it's 85 million euros. And also, that's probably including add-ons.
Yeah.
So,
which backs up what Miguel Delaney's saying, pretty much.
Yeah. So if it's 65 million plus 10 million, that's pretty much 85 million euros, isn't it?
Well, 85 million euros is 72.5 million pounds.
There you go.
So 65 plus, a bit less than 10.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense to me. So that's what I think. I think the report might be accurate, but it just is a bit less than what they're saying. So I think, yeah, I'm starting to believe now that this deal is definitely going to happen. I think the figures we're talking about are surely too much for Man City to kind of turn down. Surely it's too good for them to say no to, especially for a winger who's not going to be first choice next season. But also, in a weird way, the fact they're demanding so much kind of gives me the impression that they really know the talent they have, and they actually don't really want to sell him, and they understand Tottenham are getting a really good player here. So I understand the fee is going to raise a lot of eyebrows, and it is an overpay, whether it be 85 or 70, either of those figures. It's a very big overpay for probably what we should be paying for him. But I truly believe he's going to be worth the money.
Yeah, I think for Savinho, you want to pay in the ballpark. I think if you paid in the ballpark figure of £50 million, I think that's like a fair deal. So if we end up paying 65 plus a bit in add-ons, depending on what those add-ons are, I think it's a little bit of an overpayment, but it's not like crazy. 85 million is obviously nuts. Like
getting close to 100 million at that point.
If it is 85 million, would you still do the deal? 85 million pounds. At some point, you got to walk away.
Yeah, at some point you got to say no. I mean, if it's 85 million pounds up front. Yeah, it would be hard. It would be hard to walk away because you're getting so used to the idea of getting Savinho through the door. But then again, who's the alternatives? Who are we turning to? But I agree. At some point, you have to put your foot down and say this is getting ridiculous. And I think 85 million pounds is probably there. So you probably do walk away from the deal at that point. But all of a sudden, you risk leaving yourself short. You'll risk getting someone who you don't think is as good. So maybe I would just do it.
Are you starting to get a bit more confident now we're going to get these two players over the line?
Well, we're getting positive reports now, which with the season fast approaching, we were hoping at this point you start hearing these are the kind of reports you want to hear. You know, he's trying to, he's forcing the move. You've got the Gakpo one as well. I was just worried these deals were going to rumble on till late in the window. The things that we were hoping to change weren't going to happen, and all of a sudden we're holding a bag of money with no one to spend it on. So I was getting scared of that possibility, but it seems as though there is real confidence now that these deals are going to happen, and they might happen quicker than we think, and that would be great.
Yeah.
In terms of what you were saying about 50 million, by the way, like Liam Delap, apparently that's what Chelsea want for him. So like, I don't know. I mean, that's a player they want to sell. That's a player they're really looking to get rid of, but. You know, Man City don't want to get rid of Savinho, and we're desperate for him. So it's an interesting one.
The market is just so crazy. You've got like players going for less and more, and I just don't understand this market. I really don't. Like it's just ridiculous. Some of the fees being banded about, and then you've got like Djed Spence and Romero going for what they're going. It's just like so up and down, isn't it?
I mean, the likelihood is Djed Spence and Romero are going to go for less than, both combined are going to go for less than Savinho.
No, I didn't. But also, like when you take into account, let's say we sign Cody Gakpo for 70 million, we sign Savinho for 70 million, 140 million on Gakpo and Savinho is crazy money as well.
It's a lot of money, but we can afford it.
Yeah.
It's not something that's going to put us in financial ruin, and we could even spend more on top of that, considering the sales we're getting, and potentially even more sales coming through the door. So, at the end of the day, if they're his first choice targets, it's worth doing, isn't it? It's worth getting them over the line. It improves the attack significantly. Is it a lot of money? Yes, but in this market, what does 140 million actually get you if we were to go elsewhere? I don't really know.
Yeah, particularly when there's such a low birth of options as well.
Exactly.
So, there has actually just been another update on Cody Gakpo from the Dutch side of things, from a account called Rick Elfrink, who's a PSV journalist, and he says Cody Gakpo definitely open to move to Tottenham. He spoke with Roberto De Zerbi last month. Liverpool are now willing to consider a sale for Gakpo. So
De Zerbi's phone bill.
Direction.
I hope we're paying for it. I hope we're paying for De Zerbi's phone bill because he is doing the Lord's work.
He's got 3 minutes, mate.
He's got 3 minutes. Fantastic. I mean, it seems as though everyone's been talking to De Zerbi that we want behind closed doors. Tapping up doesn't exist anymore, does it? Because if it did, we would be having a transfer.
Spurs are doing it.
Yeah.
That's when it only exists for Morgan Gibbs White.
Yeah. So what's great, again, two players who've had apparently multiple conversations with De Zerbi, and they're both convinced to come to Tottenham, both currently playing for bigger clubs as well. And I understand right now maybe they're both not first choice, but still, in maybe a year ago or years gone by, convincing clubs, these players, even if they were fringe players, to leave bigger clubs to come to Tottenham would have been a tough sell, but it seems as though we got them lining up to come to Spurs. It's brilliant.
Also, back on the point that you were making about City clearly know that they're letting a good player go. I mean, that was evident last summer. They didn't. They blocked the move, didn't they?
They
completely blocked the move. So I think that was pretty obvious in terms of what City think of Savinho, in my opinion. Let's talk about the two outgoings. Djed Spence has arrived in Milan last night, as you can see on the images. That's him arriving at Milan airport to the journalists that are waiting to take his picture.
He fits right in, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was funny because he said he comes out and he was like, gracias, buongiorno.
Bonjour.
And then he said, see you soon.
Do you reckon he's been learning Italian for a while? It doesn't seem like it.
He knows, I reckon.
There he is. He's looking fly. He's looking, look at him, looking fashionable. In one of the fashion capitals of Europe, he's going to love it.
Yeah. Look, I wish him all the best. I really do. It's a shame how it all worked out and how he had to leave this summer. But, he'll go on to better things and we'll go on to better things as well. So,
do you reckon there's a chance at some point he goes to someone bigger than Inter coming for him if he smashes it out? Or do you think Inter's the...
Well, I mean, who are we talking about here? Like Barcelona, Real Madrid,
maybe a top
Man
Premier League
City.
club, Liverpool or something.
I thought he could have gone to Liverpool this summer.
Yeah, but he didn't. Clearly they didn't want him that much. There was clearly still doubts about him. But if he goes to Inter and smashes it, I wonder if there could be another big move in
Unless
the
Liverpool... I mean, there weren't credible reports about it, but maybe Liverpool were actually interested and Spurs would rather sell abroad for a cheaper price.
And what would you feel about that if that's true?
I mean, I've always said, I'd prefer to just get the most money, but if I'm not, bothered about it too much, I would have preferred to get bigger money, but if the club can afford what they want to do and it's not going to hurt them too much, then so be it.
Yeah, I mean... For me, when it comes to Spence, I like it. I like that they're selling him abroad. I know it's less money, but if they feel that it's enough money for us to get what we want to get done, then it doesn't really matter. Unless the money that we're getting is going to prevent, if we're not getting that fee that we could, and that's going to prevent us from future signings, then you got to think about it. But if they can afford to only get 30 instead of maybe 40, and that still doesn't affect what we're going to do with Gakpo and Savinho and whoever else, then sell him abroad because it doesn't improve our rivals.
Yeah, look, I guarantee you we haven't seen the last of Spence in the Premier League. He will be back at some point, and he probably will be back at one of the big clubs. I don't see him coming back unless he proper stinks the place out at Milan and goes to a lesser club than Tottenham. I think he will be a club on Tottenham's level or above.
Yeah, I think they'll like him at Milan, but I also think he's not kind of what they've had before. Like when you compare him to Hakimi and you compare him to Dumfries, those are real kind of animals when it comes to in the final third, like getting in those positions and assists and goals, and they've been really good in those aspects, whereas Spence is a bit different to that. So I think
in Serie A he'll be able to do it better than he did in England.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting whether he develops that side of the game enough or not. I think it's just not really his game. So I wonder if they'll start to get frustrated with that because they're used to a wing-back who really gets in the box and attacks and scores goals and stuff, and he's just not that.
Thing is, right, for England, he was doing that pretty well. He was getting in good positions. He was finding men in the box. He was taking shots on and stuff like that. I think he can develop that side to his game better, and I do think he has it in his locker. I just felt like maybe we were using him a bit wrong when he was at us. I think we used him more as a defensive fullback, but before he joined Spurs, he was known for his attacking play. So I do think he can do it. I really do. And then finally, Cuti Romero has landed now in Madrid ahead of his medical today. So yeah. Happy days.
No, is there any picture of him or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. So I'm guessing over the weekend we'll get 2 announcements.
Yeah. The real question is that when you're taking the sticker off your laptop?
When I get a new one. People acting like I've got Jack the Ripper on my laptop, as Harry Redknapp would say.
Yeah, you pretty much do.
Yeah, I pretty much do, right? Yeah, so I think as much as the fees are disappointing, as we said yesterday, if you look at the overall package of the window, you know, we're getting close to that £200 million mark. So there's plenty of money there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So we've done really good with the sales, I think, overall.
I've never known Spurs to sell this well at all. Like, it's mad, the price that was there. Like, I saw yesterday about Arsenal and Martinelli, like a bid of like 35 million came in for him. Like, we sold Lancashire for 20 million.
No,
We sold
it's
Busquets
crazy.
for 50 million. It's like Spurs this summer have become an unbelievably well-run selling club. So whoever's involved in it, Rafi Mawson, Lange, Vinay, deserve, whoever it is, like, they deserve massive props. Massive props. All right, that is your Tottenham updates. And let me know in the comments section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories that we have heard today. You never know, a bomber could just be round the corner at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And yeah, if I asked you to predict now in the next week, how many bombers we're getting? How many here we goes we're getting?
In the next week, I reckon Savinho comes in time for Brentford. I'm not sure about Gakpo, but I think Savinho does, and I think Gakpo may be in time for just after the Carabao Cup game.
Okay. So the Carabao Cup game is obviously next Wednesday, but how many days before the end of the window is that? How many days before the end of the window? So Wednesday the 26th. So it'll be just under a week to go for the rest of the window. Do you think that's it then? Savinho and Gakpo, we're not going to get anyone else?
I think it depends if we can get rid of one of Solanke or Rishi. I don't think we sign a striker if they're both here. I get a feeling. As much as I don't want that to be the case, I think we should sign regardless and let one of them rot in the under 21s. Or whatever, or just like be third choice. I get a feeling if we can't get rid of them, we're just going to hang on to both of them.
We'll see what
and
happens.
hope we can keep them both fit and hope they can score goals. I hope that doesn't happen.